In today's video, I'm going to walk you through this exact case study where we took a recent D2C apparel brand from roughly spending less than $200 a day in ad spend to how we scaled that up to well over $8,000 a day in ad spend by simplifying the whole entire process. Now, granted, I do want to give some context here. The brand already validated market fit. The brand already had a strong community, but the reason why the client became a client and decided to work with us was simply put because acquiring brand new customers was the bottleneck. The brand was solely reliant on just existing customer bases, and what they had to do to extend revenue across the board was constantly drop new collections. This is always going to be an uphill battle because if you don't have brand new customers or a system to acquire brand new customers, well, you're stuck in a situation where you're just relying on your existing customer base and your business plateaus. For any business that wants to grow, that wants to scale up, that wants to go from 1 million a year in revenue to 10 million a year revenue to even 50 to 100 million a year in revenue, you need both facets at the pipeline, which is you need profitable acquisition systems to acquire brand new customers so that you're not losing money on the front end, and you need to have healthy net margins on the front end so that you can have cash flow to sustain your business. And as a byproduct, you need to give a reason why customers should buy back from your business multiple times during the year. So it's either one of these two scenarios most brands I've consulted have issues with. Is either they can't acquire brand new customers at a profit, so they're stuck on relying on their existing customer base for growth, or vice versa, where brands can acquire customers at either break even or somewhat out of profit, but their LTV is where the bottleneck is and they can't get customers to buy back from their business. Could be because the product is, let's say if it's like a curling iron, the product can last forever. If it's like these type of hard goods, then you need to push downsells, upsells, and cross sells. But in this situation, I just want to walk you through the exact steps we did where we were able to generate over tons, or I would say around 50K in ad spend in less than 40 days with just going from less than $200 a day in ad spend. So let's dive in, let's break down the specifics and how you can apply this to your brand specifically. So I do want to preface here that when you have a brand that has a community and when it has market fit, it's easy for me to come into the company and scale pretty hard and pretty fast just because the foundations have been laid out. Now, I've had other brands where it's taken us a bit longer to see results because we're laying the foundations, we're validating market fit, and the business is at the early stages, right? This could be like a bootstrap company, whereas this brand's been around for over 4 or 5 years, I believe, and they have a strong following, a strong community, and now it's just we need to take the next steps to scale this brand up. So how we scaled a D2C apparel brand that was at $0 in ad spend to well over $8K a day in ad spend in less than 45 days. Now, context, this was results from the previous quarter, July 1st through September 30th. Now, ad spend in total was at 9.5K, so this is roughly around like less than $200 a day. And then, of course, prior to us managing the ad campaigns, there was a period where the ads were just paused completely. Now, at this rate, right, this brand generated 1.3 million in sales at healthy net profit margins. But what this tells me is, as I mentioned before, they were relying heavily on returning customers to fund their business revenue, which you're going to have to make changes, or you're going to have to make iterations or overall change the overall strategy, because what I can tell you is the more you rely on your customer base for sales or for growth, either you're dropping new collection products. So think about the cost for inventory, right? You have to invest more into inventory on new different product designs. Who knows if you even have healthy margins because it's a whole different product. And then ultimately you have to test that product out to your market, because a customer that could have bought a different product from you, a different SKU, and when you release a new product, maybe they don't fit that specific mold or that specific demographic. So you're always going to be in an uphill battle of constantly dropping new collections and constantly relying on your returning customers to fund your business, which isn't the right way or the right approach. Where imagine this. Imagine you had strong LTV and on top of that, you had strong, consistent acquisition. Well, then here's the easiest way you can just double your revenue, right? So overall, the brand was forced to drop collections every single quarter, and there's no congruent action or acquisition plan to attract new customers. So what we changed this quarter, right? Going into, we were on board around October, and then now this is around November 26th at the time of filming this video. So within around less than a full 60 days, right, we were already hit 1 million in sales already. At this rate, right, this brand took them a full quarter, or from July to September, it took them additional month or so to reach 1.3 million. And what I can tell you is we've already hit that number within less than a full 2 months within the calendar year, right? Now, granted, Black Friday, Cyber Monday does have an effect to this, or especially the seasonality this time of year with Christmas, so on and so forth. But what we did, we bumped up spend significantly to ads. We were profitable, and we built a congruent top of funnel acquisition strategy by going fully broad, right? That's been the main focus here is instead of relying on our returning customer base, we need to expand brand new customers. So that's what we did. We pushed the congruent top of funnel acquisition strategy. We pushed a front end single SKU, which was a specific, because the winter times was cold. We pushed a product that was more tailored towards the season, and the margins on that were pretty healthy. So then as a byproduct, we pushed a downsell on the back end just to boost overall acquisition or first order profit. But as mentioned before, we're at healthy margins, so there was no need to build out a bundle right away because they had something that worked. It's just we needed to light fuel to the fire, which ads amplified the business. Now, our structure was pretty simple. One campaign going fully broad. We did creative testing with DCTs, and I covered this before of this exact strategy. But overall, we focused on high revenue driving activities. So we raised overall conversion rate by sending traffic to a dedicated landing page. The result was we were spending less than $200 a day ad spend, and we pushed that up and scaled to $8,000 a day in ad spend rather quickly. Now, the CPMs are around $6 to $10 by going fully broad. Our blended CPA dropped from $50 to $28, and we crossed over 1 million in sales in less than 2 months faster than the previous quarter. As I covered before, keep in mind Black Friday, Cyber Monday seasonality, and the Christmas push. But if I were to summarize this into viable steps for your business, right? Let's say you're a business owner sub even $1 million a year in revenue. This goes hand in hand regardless. You need to validate product market fit by pushing either one single SKU on the front end or leverage high AOV bundles if your COGS equal less than 70% net profit on NCPA. The reason why most brands struggle with paid ads is because either A, they're at a break even, or B, they're pretty much at a net loss, right? We want to minimize the amount of losses on our front end, right? We want to acquire first order profit. So if you're pushing one single SKU and your COGS are rather cheap and you're at around 70% net margin, well, then I'd say push it on the front end. But if you don't have profitable unit economics or at least that 70% net profit or that wiggle room, this is where I advise pushing a higher AOV bundle because our main focus here is acquiring first order profit. We want to be at least acquiring somewhat of a profit on the front end so that on the back end of LTV, right, we're also super profitable. Now, secondary to that, how can you boost LTV? Well, besides dropping new collections every quarter, besides giving customers a reason to buy back, it's pretty simple when you have a community or when you have like a cult-like audience where you're posting consistently on Instagram, right? You're around like 1 million followers on Instagram, which this brand was at. Then it's pretty easy to drop new collections or drop new products or even run ads because your CPMs are going to be somewhat lower because you have that audience in place. And if you're running ads on Facebook, right, and you have a strong IG profile or IG social proof, and even you have an influencer tied to your brand, right, you can whitelist ads, you can go fully broad, and you're going to still see cheaper CPMs rather than somebody who didn't have that authority figure in the space. Now, I kind of covered this loosely, but we want to give customers a reason to buy back from our business. So this is either new product collection drops or incentives to spike subscriptions. We want to utilize paid media to acquire new customers instead of retargeting previous customers, right? That's the whole focus of paid media for us. Paid media should be used to acquire brand new customers. Retargeting should mainly be saved for back-end email and SMS, right? Even though you spend money on those resources on retention, it's more fruitful for us for paid ads to at least acquire a brand new customer rather than just retargeting a previous customer, right? Because in theory, we're paying more money to acquire that same exact sale, which we could have saved way more just getting that person to opt in via an email back-end downsell. And then, of course, we want to prioritize going fully broad while focusing on the variables that optimize the sales funnel. So this is your creatives. You want to optimize your creative, split test different angles, build that moat within your marketing team or within that creative process so that you can separate yourself from competitors. Landing pages. I see too many brands not utilize landing pages, just send traffic to collection page, right? With the landing page, we can force the individual customer to raise our AOV, right? Because we're ideally pushing a bundle on the front end if we're sending traffic to a dedicated landing page. And then this is where offers come into play. Now, the reason why I like pushing bundles rather than single SKUs is because A, you have more gross margin on the front end, and B, you can have the freedom or the luxury to now create irresistible offers. So you can do a buy two, get one free. You can do, you can buy four, get two free, so on and so forth. You can buy one, get 50, to get the next one 50% off, right? You have so much room here to create a Grand Slam offer. And when you have a Grand Slam offer, This gives brand new customers who have never heard about your brand a reason to want to pull the trigger and buy from your business, right? That's why it's super important that you need a no-brainer offer so that your CPA can be profitable. And then as a byproduct with bundles, if your front-end margins are terrible, well, then this is where the need to push maybe a 3, 4, 5 product bundle SKU on the front end will help your business out on the long term. So with that being said, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. And of course, if you're interested or you want help, you want my expertise on dialing in your front end unit economics, getting your paid media strategy dialed on the front end, and B, you actually want to have a potential to exit your company, well, you can check out my website. You can book in a time below where you can speak directly with me, and I'll see if you're a good fit. If you are a fit, well, then ultimately I'll walk you through our systems and exactly how we help founders build in-house for exits. So if you have any questions, drop them down below, but I'll see you guys in the next video.